I'm Megan Mitchell. This is my co-host, John Morrison, and you are listening to the True North Racing Podcast.
Time to strap in, pull those belts, and get ready for an action-packed episode of the True North Racing Podcast. Are you ready to unhelmet your favorite racers? Get ready for the most fun you'll have outside the racetrack to get you ready for the next race. You're listening to John Morrison and Megan Mitchell, and this is the True North Racing Podcast.
Welcome back to a new week of the True North Racing Podcast, brought to you by Vision 20 Studios. I'm John Morrison. Joining me as always, their amazing co-host, Megan Mitchell. Megan, how are you?
I'm good. How are you, John?
I think you know how I'm doing today. We had a good weekend, I'd say.
I thought it was good.
It was yesterday with the rainouts happening across the province in motorsports. Like I currently right now have the APC race going on next to me here, but they're under rain delay at the moment of us recording this. So they're looking like they might call it, and JR Fitzpatrick will get the win if that's the case. So we'll see what happens. There's like 30 some laps left to go, I think. So Megan, what did you get up to this weekend?
I hung out with you guys. I think that was my whole
you did.
Yeah, I don't know. It was supposed to be our beer Olympics this weekend because we had an off weekend, no racing. But I don't know. Things kind of changed. Didn't really go as we planned. So there was no real beer Olympics, but we still just hung out and it was a good weekend. We had fun.
I say that, it's unfortunate that we weren't able to do the beer Olympics, but it was still lots of fun. Like the conversations we all had, and I think I don't know about you, because I'm a few years older than you.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely I only had 3 drinks last night.
Yeah.
But we didn't go to bed till 3:30 this morning. It was after 4:00 this morning by the time I fell asleep.
Yep. Me too. Yeah.
And I'm thinking oh man, I don't know how I used to do this.
I'm surprised I lasted that long, I'll be honest.
So am I. I was ready for bed at midnight.
But I felt bad, and I'm just gonna keep going until someone says that that they're ready for bed, and then nobody was saying it. So I'm well, you guys, you guys are ready. I'm ready.
I mean, Jacqueline was ready 2 hours prior. We could have all just gone to bed and just.
We could have.
Yeah, it was a good weekend. I'm hoping we can kind of reschedule and do it again, and properly play out the beer Olympics, because I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Rachel put in a lot of work on that Bristol board, and it looked really sharp, and it's unfortunate it didn't get to use. So
yeah.
Tell her to save it next time if we need to change out from a 3 to a 4, or just leave it
exactly
if we can do it later on. No, geez, what the hell that was? That was weird. Yeah, it was a good weekend overall. Today, I actually got a lot of work done before coming on here, which is actually really nice. Jacqueline slept the entire afternoon, right up until dinner. We got home just after lunch, about just after noon.
Yeah,
I think noon, 1:00-ish, and yeah, she lay down on the couch with me for a little bit, watched the opening. Very little opening. She wasn't really paying attention to the Indy race. And then she's like, I'm going to go to bed and lay down. I'm like, okay, you do that, honey. Go back. So it sucks because like the past we don't have a whole lot of racing content to talk about because last weekend rain out like 90% of the province. This weekend almost same deal. The only reason APC series is going on is because they had a rain date for today. Only 2 Joe Media drivers, 3 are running this weekend, but that's out of 22 because of the rain. And of course, like pure stocks were off, mini stocks were off, and there's like 10 cars right there. From Flamborough. But I got to give a big shout out to BT Racing. I think it was last minute by the looks of it and sounds of it, but they decided to make the trip up to Sauble Speedway for the Friday night Pure Stock Invitational, and Phil Givens walked away with the $750. So I still think it's a pretty badass picture where you see Chris Lawrence, Phil Givens, and Alex Stewart all climbing the fence.
I like the one of Phil and Chris.
Which one? Where Chris is kissing him?
Chris being, him being the trophy girl.
That was awesome. Oh my God. It was, 14 cars were able to make it. I'm hoping maybe next year we can do it again up at Sauble. And I don't know. We'll see. If we can get more interest into it, there's no reason why this couldn't take off, and maybe even, put it on a regular Saturday night or something. It's the way it worked out with the schedule this weekend that it just made more sense to slap it on and make it a triple header weekend.
Yeah.
By the sounds of it, I'm not speaking because I don't have any say in the schedule. I just get sent it to me as like, post this. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
But I think it was a good idea to try and bring people to the beach for 3 days. Right. And it kind of helps local tourism. That Sauble, that's what they try to do, is they try to get that local. They get you to come for the races, but they want you to stay in Sauble for the weekend.
Exactly.
And I love Sauble. I'm going up there on the 2nd of August. I think I said that last week. But for the Dash for Cash event, Roots Gaspar United 8s, Leuna Local 1059 Combined Force, and the Russell Fencing Index Junior Late Models will all be racing for pretty good payouts. I was just looking at it today, but my dumbass is forgetting, as per usual. It's that old age syndrome for me. No, because I was working on the Sauble Speedway website today, so like making sure everything was good. And there's our cat for the night.
There's the cat content for the night. Say hi, Dougie. Say hi.
So okay, so hold on. Did Jacqueline tell you what almost happened last night? Or this morning, I guess? One of your cats was licking my foot. Or like just was sniffing my foot and was almost like about to lick it. And I was in a dead asleep. So like Jacqueline was like, oh no. Just, pss, pss, pss. I think it was Dennis. And she's like,
probably
Dennis, pss, pss, come here. Like, to stay away from his feet or else you're gonna go flying.
Yeah. Wouldn't be his first time.
What it would
to be honest.
Oh boy. But yeah, no, sorry, I just saw the cat and then reminded me of that story. So the Dash for Cash race, guys, is 75 laps for the Roots Gaspar United 8s, and it's $2,500 to win.
Oh, wow.
The Leona Local 1059 Combined 4 is running 40 laps for $1,300 to win. And the Russell Fencing Junior Late Models are running 25 laps for $400. It is a midweek race. It leads up to one of probably the most exciting races happening at Sauble Speedway, because it runs into the Civic Holiday long weekend, and that Saturday you have the APC United Late Model Series, it is the NTN Bearings Triple Crown 150 laps for the United Late Model Series. The INEX Great Lakes Legends and the Can-Am Midgets will all be running that night. Then, of course, on the Sunday, because of course you can't have one day of racing on on a long weekend of race, long weekend. On the Sunday, it is the APC Superstock Invitational, which is 54 laps. And it's $1,250 to win. Can-Am midgets, combined fours. Wow. Canadian Legend Car Series National Qualifier as well. So if you guys can get your butts out there for that Wednesday, book it off now. Hopefully you guys can get it off and you guys got a cool boss who'll let you out of work early so you guys can go enjoy some racing.
That would be nice.
Right? It's going to be a long night for me coming home though. I should have taken off the rest of the week. Not gonna.
Yeah.
But no, it should be a good weekend, good week of racing. I think we can keep going on and on. But Megan, real quick, so next weekend, July 22nd, the Canadian Modifieds have the Wow One Day Painting. Our weekly sponsors, Wow One Day Painting. I'm gonna be at the track. I'm gonna be doing a full race day vlog with Jay Pepin. The Pure Stocks mini stocks are also racing. And I think the Prolates.
I'm honestly not sure about the whole schedule. I just know when Pure Stocks run.
Yeah, I know.
I'll be honest.
Let's see if I can find it real quick because we do have our guests waiting, and I should really be bringing them in. But I want to get this out of the way because I feel once our guest leaves, no one listens to us. They're like, all right, that's enough of those guys.
And you're done.
You're done. But yeah, no, I think, let's see here. We're going to go scrolling real quick. But yeah, no, so we got the Pure Stocks. There it is. We got the Prolate models, Canadian Vintage Modified, Super Stocks, Mini Stocks, and Pure Stocks. So lots of action going on next weekend. I'm kind of hoping they make that the Meet the Drivers night too, because that's all home track divisions they're running.
Except for minis. Minis aren't there that weekend, I don't think.
Yeah, they are.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
We got Prolates, CVM, Super Stocks, Minis, and Pures.
Oh, okay. For some
So
reason,
that's all the home tracks.
That's true. See, that would be good.
That'd be a great night. Because I have that headband for my GoPro, and I just want to use it for Meet the Drivers night.
Yeah.
Because I want to look stupid, like Michael Waltrip did, going up and down pit road, and I'd be going up and down the front stretch, collecting hero cards and talking to drivers. I want to do that. I need this to happen for me. So, Grand Speedway, I'm begging you, please make this Saturday Meet the Drivers night, please. I think that's enough about us. I think let's get in this week's guest. We do have Carter Nichol joining us. He is a 14-year-old stock car racer. He races up at Grand Bend Speedway. I know a little bit more, but not too much. But we're going to learn a lot more, and I can't wait for it. But before we bring in Carter, we're going to have a quick word from our presenting sponsor, Vision 20 Studios. You're diving into Vision 20 Editing. New company with their services providing video editing to get your video perfect in exactly the way you guys are looking for. They also do audio mastering where they're going to take your audio and make it crisp and clear. They're bringing your vision to life. That is right. At Vision 20 Editing, we want to make sure that your vision comes to life in the way you want it. Find us on Facebook and Instagram at Vision 20 Studios. Now let's get back to the True North Racing Podcast. Joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast, we are being joined by the driver, the number 52, Carter Nichol. Carter, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Before obviously, as I said just a couple seconds before, really, we appreciate you joining us this week. We're excited to learn more about you. Before we even continue on with this, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, started racing when I was about 7 or 8 at Grand Bend. Started racing junior sprint cars. Did that for 3 years. Did quite well. Then we took about a year or two off. And last year we bought a '04 Pontiac Sunfire, and we took everything out of it and made it into a bone stock. We've been racing at Grand Bend on second full-time season, and it's our best season yet.
That's awesome. So Now, we're gonna get into your 2023 season here in just a couple minutes, but let's jump all the way back to when you got started here, because that's seven, that's almost 7 years of racing, besides taking the year or two off there. But you've already had a great career by the looks of it, racing for 7 years here. Why don't you tell us a little bit about how you got involved in racing and how you got started?
Well, my dad, when he was a kid, he raced 9 horsepower go-karts at Grand Bend, and when he had me, he always had the NASCAR races on. There's videos of me singing the Napa Know How song to the NASCAR races. I loved racing so much growing up, and I always looked up to my dad because he raced almost his whole life. So I eventually I don't remember how it happened, but I just remember getting a go kart, junior B go kart, 6.5 horsepower. We ended up going up to Grand Bend for racing the nose.
Wow.
Jesus, that's all. You know what? That's a great to. You know what? Those old commercials, because like realizing like you're half my age, I can realistically say like, okay, I know exactly which commercials you're talking about. But though you're right, those were some of the best commercials out there.
So tell us more about like the sprints that you race. Like I'm not personally not too familiar with them at Grand Bend.
Um, it's pretty much just an engine, a roll cage with a few fiberglass pieces of the body on it. That's pretty much all it is. It's just two wings, and a hood and the side panels, and that's pretty much it.
Nice.
Is there much adjustments you guys can do to that to get your car going faster, or is it pretty much just like you can't adjust too much?
Can't adjust too much. Like tire pressure, you can do that pretty easily. I mean, you can do that with any car, but each maybe a little bit of wedge. I'm not sure. I wasn't really all that focused when I was 7. Um, but tire pressure for sure, and maybe a little bit of wedge, but you couldn't really do much to them.
And what was that feeling like being 7 years old and getting into a race car like that for the first time? What kind of like emotions were there?
To be honest, most of it was terror. Uh, uh, just I wasn't really scared, before going on, but right as you're about to go onto the track, I was terrified, and then I don't know what it was. I kind of learned like as soon as the engine's fired up, like just all your thoughts are just gone and you're ready to go and you don't really have any emotions on the track.
Mhm. That's understandable.
So a little bit, I learned this from, it's your mom, correct? Who reached out to me about this?
That is correct.
Okay, so I did not. This is actually information, Megan, I didn't know about, and I just
Mhm.
learned it from Tanya when she reached out to me to get Carter on the show. Is that you're from Alyssa Craig, Ontario, correct?
Yep.
Okay, so Megan, have you ever heard of the name Earl Ross?
Yes.
He's from Carter's from the hometown, same hometown.
Oh, okay.
How cool! Like that's pretty cool. I don't think I
Yeah.
never actually looked into that, and I know who Earl Ross is, but I never thought about learning that too much about that. But getting a chance to learn that is pretty cool. So for you, Carter, what's it like growing up in the same hometown as as a NASCAR legend, essentially?
Well, it's been incredible. He was actually like Earl was my dad's boss. Like my dad works for Earl Ross Incorporated. Um, um, so Earl has been like Earl drove my parents to their wedding. He's been a huge part of our lives. I was only around 3 or 4 maybe when he passed, so I sadly never got to meet him. Or if I did, I don't remember it. But it's just our bone stock is based off of his car because I look up to Earl so much. He is the reason why I want to race. He's the reason why I want to make it to NASCAR. I want to be with Earl in the legends of racing.
That's awesome.
You know what? I that's a great goal. You know, and that's a lot of drivers' goals here. So for like yourself, you got behind the wheel of a full-size car in a bone stock up at Grand Bend. You running the Thursday nights or the Saturday nights?
Both.
Both? Oh wow. Jesus, busy kid over here. Holy, that's awesome. So for you, like how much fun are you having running the 2 nights a week?
It is like so much fun. I can't explain how much fun it is. Just go out Saturday, do well, and then come back on Thursday and do even better. It's incredible. It's a lot more work, but it it really pays off.
And it looks like it. And I've seen posts about you before and you with like feature wins and stuff. I'm like, that's amazing. Like, awesome job. Do you have any like intentions of, well, I mean, you said you want to like get up to NASCAR, so probably, but like any intentions of like moving to like a mini stock or something in the near future?
I was always thinking legends, but my dad not too fond of them, so I was probably next step would either be a late model or a street stock. Uh, if not something like a mini stock, yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah. So with that being said, it does there's a mindset you got to go through when changing from a front wheel drive car to a rear wheel drive car. So what would help you prepare to make that transition?
Well, probably lots of practice. I have a racing simulator right behind me, iRacing, so lots of practice on that. Um, and just trying to focus on the way the car will handle. Just really getting your mindset on that, I think, is a lot of the battle. And just tons and tons and tons of practice.
Hmm. So what kind of like iRacing do you do?
Um, I do mostly NASCAR, but like I've done stuff from dirt sprint cars to IndyCar, Formula One, NASCAR, late models, pretty much everything.
Oh wow.
Now, do
Think you
you
could
read? Oh, sorry, Megan,
sorry.
go ahead.
Do you said like doing like dirt racing. Do you think you would ever try that like in real life after trying it on iRacing?
I've always wanted to try the Chili Bowl,
That'd be cool.
or the Outdoor a Million.
That'd
Those are both races I've always wanted to do.
mm.
See, now those are cool races.
Yeah.
So Carter, for your, I know Megan knows this. I got a buddy who lives in Texas. Okay, he lives just south of Houston, and thankfully, I met him during COVID because what else could you do? I I was playing video games, met him, and he ended up going to the Chili Bowl that winter, and he was actually part of a pit crew down there. Uh, yeah, he was going on and telling me how much of an experience that is. That he now has this mindset that he wants to get to the Chili Bowl or what they have a little bit prior, but I can't remember what it's called now. But essentially, it's the best micro sprint car drivers. So like turf cars, stuff like that, they will bring those guys out and run on the Chili Bowl track before the midgets come out there. And Megan, I don't know if you've ever seen those cars. And Carter, I can tell you this much: my buddy has put on some amazing races. He's never driven that Chili Bowl, but he's already put on some amazing races in his career. I really hope he listens to this because I like hyping him up a lot. Um, but so you say, so what are your goals in sense of, I know I just kind of rattled off here, but what are your goals in sense of like, where do you want to be next year? Do you want to be running a bone stock or do you want to continue moving up the ranks and understanding the cars?
That's a tough question. We've been talking about this because the car is going to be fully mine next year, so I'm going to be choosing where we race and all that. So I this isn't for sure. Like we still have to think about it at the end of the season. But what we might do, we might sell off the bone stock and get another car, or we might keep the bone stock. We're still deciding right now. But next year, if we can find the right sponsorship, I would love to try street stocks or late models, like even just one race in one of those, and just to show people the potential that I have, and like just get my name out there.
And that's the hardest part, and is Megan, you can attest this as well. It is really difficult to get out there and get sponsorship. It is, you got to do a whole lot of work. And we've talked with Claude Haggerty about this, is that, you know, as a driver, you can't really just take the money and walk away. To really hold the sponsorship and keep the sponsorship, you really have to almost work for them, essentially, to really get that return. So this is one of the fun questions to always ask, I think, is really finding out how, let's say I had $50,000. I don't, I'm just saying, let's hypothetically here. I got a wedding people. If Jacqueline heard I had $50,000, I would what essentially, if I gave you $50,000, how would you, I want to hear this because it's always fun to hear, is how would you promote Joe Medium Promotions?
Well, we probably plastered the logo all over the car. That would be the first step. Any victory lane moments or any interview moments would definitely have your name probably say your name a dozen or so times, and just really get the name out there. And if you had any events going on, we'd certainly show up to them. And if there's there's a parade that comes to us, Craig, every year, and we get the car in on that. So you'd have your logo out there in a lot of these public events and having it shown everywhere. And it definitely become one of the faces. So like that logo definitely become a real big part of Nichol Motorsports and the car.
See, that's the answer I'm looking for when I hear stuff like this. Because the thing, like, it's always the thing, is I want to make sure that if there are potential sponsors who do end up listening to this, I want them to understand the kind of, Megan, we can also talk about this too, because I want to help you guys get more sponsorship too, is I really want to see the thing with my, like, so for Carter, for myself, Megan, the one thing I'd like to do is I like to get put on events for Joe Medium promotional drivers such as Megan over here. It's really good to hear a young driver like yourself who is really trying to continue that partnership even after you take the money. No, I'm not, that's bad to say. I'm not gonna say take. Well, wait. Megan, can you save me here before I sound like an
like, pretty much that drivers understand that you can't just take the money and walk away with it and be like, thanks, like, good dealing with you, we're done here, if that's what you're trying to say.
That's pretty much, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was trying to make it not sound so mean with the whole take the money and run. But no, you're absolutely right, Carter. It's definitely a nice, refreshing thing to hear. But I want to know now is how you said you've been iRacing. I wanted to touch on this a little bit. Is what are you doing to? Are you running any like league races? Are you running in those competitive series that we hear so much about, like BRP and frick, I don't even know what else. I can't even think of like NASCAR, stuff like that. Are you racing in league races to really get your name out there?
Well, at the moment, the simulator is kind of broken, and we haven't paid the iRacing subscription because it was broken. But when it was actually running, I was doing two series. One was called ISNF, and I was running the truck series in that every week, every Friday night. And then I started this 2 years ago, maybe in like 2020. I started in a series called MDIAL, or Midwest Days of Thunder. And they have this series where you start off in ARCA, and like you don't have to join a team in ARCA. You can just kind of race your own car. But then to move up, a team has to basically text you and be like, hey, we want you to drive for us in the truck series. And it's just like NASCAR because it goes ARCA, trucks, Xfinity, Cup. And you'd have to get these calls from the teams. So I was lucky about halfway through my ARCA Menard series. career, I guess. One of the best teams in that league, they texted me. They're like, "Hey, we've been watching you for a while now. We really like the way you drive. How would you like to drive for us?" I'm like, "That'd be incredible." Um, and the rest of that season, I don't know what it was. I just couldn't focus. There was a lot going on. Didn't do so hot. Didn't even make the playoffs. And that team, unfortunately, had to get rid of me. Completely understandable though. I was not doing very well. Just ARCA cars aren't for me. Well, just
Mhm.
the Saint kind of he texted me after that, and I've been talking with him for a while now. He asked me to drive for him the Xfinity series right after that. So I completely skipped the truck series, went up to Xfinity, and I made the playoffs in my very first season on that and made it all the way to the round of 8. And
Wow.
then his team ended up failing. So I ended up going after that. This team was looking for drivers in the Cup Series, so I was able to text them, and they hired me for the Cup Series for that. So I was racing the Cup Series for a little while, and then iRacing broke, so I wasn't able to anymore.
That's
Oh,
really cool.
oh yeah. You know what? I see that's the thing is in 2020, I was not smart. Like I was kind of smart, but like I wasn't smart because I didn't get iRacing. I should have at the time. I got a PS4 instead. Literally like 2 months before they announced the PS5. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess this will do. Um, but no, like it's cool. Like I love iRacing. I love the what it brings because it in the same sense it brings people together. I also divide people, but it also brings them together because like that's how I met my buddy in Texas. Like you've had the opportunity to meet a lot of probably really cool people, and I probably had the chance to race against a lot of really cool people as well. With that being said, have you raced against any NASCAR drivers during iRacing?
Actually, I have. I've raced against 3 of them, I think. It was the first one. I had never won a race up to this point, and I was doing Daytona, and this was up right before the Daytona 500, about 2 weeks or something. And Kyle Busch happened to be in the lobby,
Oh, wow.
so that was incredible. I got to race against him. He ended up taking him out in the first lap, so that was really funny. Um, and then he's in the Xfinity series right now. But it's Anthony Alfredo.
Okay.
I raced
He
against
does a
him for a
lot of
little bit.
iRacing stuff.
Yeah, I was able to race against him, and he just destroyed everyone. I mean, it was an Xfinity race, so he just was
He's used to those
destroyed
cars.
everyone. Yeah. And then I didn't race against him, but I was doing practice against him. It was oh, what was his name? He was pulled in a NASCAR for failing a drug test. Forget what his name was. I on the
Jeremy
tip of my
Mayfield.
tongue. Jeremy Mayfield. Yes, it was him. I was able to run practice with him.
Oh,
Oh, that's pretty
wow.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's the again, you're not gonna get that on a PS4. You're not.
No.
But like on iRacing, you can't fake someone's name.
Yeah.
So like it's cool that you get to race against people like that and get into lobbies or racing, whatever. I we can obviously continue on and on about iRacing and stuff like that, but I want to get back into the full size car where you want to go. But even actually before we do that, I think it's a great opportunity to because I forgot last week and I feel stupid for forgetting it. Megan, you know exactly what I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
But I think it's time for our fan question period presented by Taylor to You Media and Design. Uh, we put out earlier today on social media that you were joining us this week, and we got some questions for you. You ready to answer them?
I'm ready.
All right, Megan, take it away.
Donna Westman asked, "Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?"
5 years. Now I got to do the math on how old I'll be if I'll even be able to do this. So we'll just say 18. Um, 18. I don't know if they'll do it, but maybe even in the NASCAR Pinty series at that point, if everything goes according to plan. But if not, maybe even in a late model racing at Delaware or just kind of going touring all over Ontario in a late model, or even the Legend Series. But 5 years, probably the Pinty series.
That'd be cool to see.
Those Pinty's cars are awesome.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
with that being said, you 5 years, that's a really quick timeline. Obviously it's been done before. Like I have the APC race just over my left shoulder here, so I would point at Kyle Steckley, but he unfortunately just wrecked out. But Kyle Steckley is one of those guys who went from junior late models to mini stocks to pro late models, and he's now I think 17, maybe 18, running select events in the NASCAR Pinty series.
Wow.
Yeah, really quick timeline, eh? Like 2019, he was running junior late models. He actually smacked the wall at turn 4 in Varney. Next year running mini stocks, and then he's even running the pro late, practicing the pro late in 2020. So there's some cool info for you. And then in 2021, competed. He won his first ever start in the EPC series. So it's not hard, but it is hard though. And now my other question here is, do you have plans on traveling to other tracks this year, such as like Delaware, Flamborough, because I'm partially favored to it, Sauble, Sunset, Peterborough? Do you have any plans to go run those tracks this year?
At the moment, no. We're strictly running Grand Bend, but that's
Okay.
mostly because the car is set up for Grand Bend. But if we still have the bone stock next year, I plan on maybe visiting Delaware a few times and maybe doing like the Frosttoberfest or whatever it's called down in Flamborough. Maybe
Yep.
doing that. Sauble, possibly.
I like that it's not a
But
no. That's my favorite thing. Uh, I love it. I love Sauble, but so I always hear a lot of people say Grand Bend is hard to drive. Um, it's not big enough for big cars, stuff like that. In your mind, what is awesome about Grand? Because like I haven't been to Grand Bend. I want to go, but what makes Grand Bend so awesome to race at?
it's such a technical like track because it's so tight. You have to be able to really know how to run the corners, and you have to really know how to run the short tracks because it's so small. And with the bone stocks, you really have to know like the perfect timing on when to get underneath somebody or when to back off, or if they're going to dive low, if you need to get your nose under there to pass them. Because the only way you can really pass on that track is on the is down low. So it's such a technically demanding track. You really have to know how to pass people. You really have to know what to expect, or you have to expect the unexpected.
Mm. And I think it's Grand Bend that I've been told. Their corners like, are they banked at all, or is it like totally flat?
They're banked, not too much, but yeah, they are banked.
Okay.
So to drive Grand Bend, it's got essentially like the D shape, such as like a Charlotte or Texas. Um, what is that on? I can't remember. Is that on the back stretch or is that the front stretch?
Um, it's on the front stretch now. It used to be the back stretch.
Okay. So really getting into the corners, how does that affect your turn in and coming off of turn 4? Like, how do you have to set the car up to really get it into those corners, very like turning the car very well through the corners?
Going into turn 1 and 2, you just kind of have to dive it in low, and then you can kind of come up to about midway. Or even on the Thursday nights, I had Ryan McNichol. He was on my bumper the entire time, so I had to keep it to the bottom the entire time. But on most races, you can just kind of coming off turn 2, you can let the car push a bit. You can even come close to the wall. But then going into 3 and 4, you dive it low and you keep it low. So if you slide up, people will go underneath you and they will pass you. To go coming off of 4, you have to keep it low, and you have to keep it low going through the tri-oval, I guess, or I don't know what you would call it.
Right.
I just realized we kind of hijacked the fan question period.
I was
So
gonna say that.
Megan, get us back on track here.
All right. William_Trillium also asked, where do you hope to get to in racing? Which I guess we kind of talked about.
Um, I really hope to get into the NASCAR Cup Series. That would probably be the best case scenario. I mean, we've seen guys like DJ Kennington make it up there. Unfortunately, it was only for that one race, or can't remember if he ran more, but I remember watching him in the Daytona 500 and seeing him running up at the front in like a Gauntlet Brothers car or whatever, like not
Yep.
the best equipment and still running really well. So to see guys like him run out there really gives you some confidence, like I can do this. If he's done it, why can't I? So yeah, hopefully it would be the NASCAR Cup Series, or NASCAR Xfinity Series, just somewhere up in that NASCAR rank.
That's awesome. And then the last one, let me correct my screen. On Instagram, I'm assuming GGBN12345 said, what track would you like to race at next? But I'm gonna open, I don't know if it was supposed to be specific, but we'll say like any track. It doesn't have to be like an Ontario short track.
Well, if probably Delaware, if like sticking to Ontario, but like just dream track, or just if I could run any track, probably Daytona.
Mhm.
I've always been great at drafting from the sprint cars because that's really the only way you could pass is from the draft. So Daytona would probably be the best one.
That'd be really cool.
Sorry, is that all of
I
them?
was just gonna say, I think that was the last one, yeah.
All right, perfect. Well, that concludes our fan question period. I'm sorry for everyone for hijacking it once again. Carter, we want to thank you for taking the time to answer those questions for us.
Thank you for having me.
Uh, that was our that was tailored to you media and design fan question period. Make sure you guys go follow her on Facebook and Instagram. She does a lot of our apparel and merchandise stuff. She makes some great designs. She makes her awesome tumblers, as you guys can see in our video right now on social media. I'm always still rocking it. Doesn't matter. It's still a great cup. So yeah, go hit her up. Get her if you're looking for merchandise or apparel, or even a design. Hit her up. So getting back to our conversation here, we're just about out of time. We're just about out of time. But with everything being said, it's been told that you give 150% into your racing career. So with that being said, how much are you learning about the cars that you're racing and what are you doing each week to get yourself better for the next race?
Well, I've been every time the bone stocks are out on practice, I've always gone up and watched them, seeing how the drivers react. And me and my dad will sit there and we'll watch a car for a couple laps, and we'll watch and see how they're doing. Is watch another car for a couple laps. So like the one race I saw, that the 53 car was pushing really really bad. So my dad was saying, hey, when you get up to him, you're gonna get underneath him and you're gonna push him up the track, and you're gonna make sure he has no room, so he will back off. And sure enough, when it came time to pass him, I was able to do that, and he backed off, and I was able to get by him. And I'll just watch these cars and I'll study them. So when it comes time, like if I have to pass them or if I have to defend against them, I know the moves that they're going to throw at me, and I know how to defend against them. And I know that kind of all these drivers kind of know them like inside and out, and just know exactly how they're going to drive.
That's one of the best ways to get good. Like I know they say seat time is great, but like to sit and watch exactly what you're doing, specifically one car at a time, and understand like the way they race, the way they move on the track, like it puts an advantage. You have an advantage over them. So like that's awesome.
Yeah, because Megan's been out of the seat for a year and a bit here. So for her, like I know Megan, you've been watching the pure stocks a lot more. I feel like recently here. to see what your competitors are doing. It's such a tough, it's such a tough learning curve. And when you're able to learn what your competitors are doing, you use that against them. And that's exactly what Carter's doing over here. And that's awesome. That's a great racecraft to learn, to understand what your competitors are doing, what you need to do to get by them. But Carter, before we let you go, it's always my favorite segment or it's not segment, but every favorite thing to talk about is we're going to give you the next couple minutes here to thank anyone and everyone, your sponsors, your family, from your first dog when you were 2 years old all the way to your latest cat who's like 10 weeks old. I don't know. But you have the floor for the next couple minutes to thank everyone, your sponsors and your family, whoever you want to thank.
Start off with the sponsors. I just want to thank Cully Electric, Bad Daddy Customs, Brown Oak Electric, Sensi Build Construction, Shady Pines Campground, Johnston Woodworking, After Hours Automotive, Campfire Ninja, Powered by Papa, A to Z Events, Amanda Kopchik, Photography and Videography, the Jat Branding Company, Robinson Farm Drainage, Earl Ross Incorporated, Godfather's Pizza, Bylass Power Sports, and Ojo's that's not pizza, Ojo's Coffee. And just thank my dad and my mom for getting all the sponsors out and get my name out there and get me on this podcast and just doing all like sponsors and everything on the management side and kind of making it so me and my dad don't fall apart kind of. And then thank my dad for knowing how to set up a car because it's foreign to me. And showing me how to properly drive it and just getting me into racing. And all the fans for coming out to Grand Bend. And because if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be able to race. And thank you guys for having me on this.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you. So for anyone, this podcast will air Tuesday at 10 a.m. What does your race schedule look like for the next couple weeks? Let's put it out there. For the next couple weeks, what is your race week? What are you racing next? And let us know where they can find you on social media.
Well, we'll start with social media because my mom's got the schedule. I'll have her go grab that. But Instagram, you can find us, I think Nichol Racing _52 or something like that. You can find us on Facebook, Nichol Motorsports. What else do we have? I think that's it actually. But everything from racing to the schedule gets posted onto Nichol Motorsports on Facebook, and then I run the Instagram account, so I'll post occasionally like pictures of the car and all that and how we're doing. So like when we won last Thursday, we slept the night and we were able to put pictures of it on the Instagram. So I think we just about have the schedule here. Okay. So July 22nd, I think that's this weekend.
Yep.
Saturday night, Grand Bend. And then Thursday, July 27th, Grand Bend again. Thursday, August 3rd, Grand Bend. Thursday, August 10th, Grand Bend. Saturday, August 19th, Grand Bend. Saturday, August 26th at Grand Bend. September 2nd, Saturday night at Grand Bend. Thursday, September 7th, at Grand Bend. And Saturday, September 23rd at Grand Bend, I think. Oh, never mind. That's the Lights Fest.
Perfect. All right, man. Sounds good. We appreciate you joining us this week on the True North Racing Podcast. And we hope you have a great rest of the season and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. You have yourself a good night. All right.
You too.
All right. Bye now. And we're back from our conversation with Carter Nichol. We want to thank him for joining us this week on the podcast. And we wish him the best of luck for the rest of the 2023 season and going forward in his career. Megan, it's as always, it's been a pleasure having you on because it's always so much fun, our conversations. So I just wanted to, so I showed you a picture a little bit ago there. So as we're recording this, I have the APC race going on over here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's 12 cars left on track. And JR Fitzpatrick just wrecked.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow. I don't know if you can see that.
Oh, yeah, I could see that.
His windshield.
Oh, yeah, because that's where the tire was.
Yeah.
JR just hit the outside wall down in turn 1.
How did that happen?
The car just did not turn. It just went up in the turn, it ended up in the middle of turn 1 and 2, up into the wall. Like,
see, they talked about this on G-Force on Friday about how the last one was green to checkers, straight through, and that usually when the first one is so clean like that, the next one is like the opposite.
Like Junior Farley.
Go.
Oh yeah, like Junior Farley was just restarted on the front row without a hood on.
The only part of it that I caught before we got recording was it was him and Shea Gemmell battling out front, and I'm like, oh, intense, man.
Just a little bit, eh?
Just a little bit.
I kind of wish I kind of wish we didn't have a show this weekend because I feel like we could have just gone and hung out at Flamborough today.
I was gonna ask you that, and then Rachel's like, "But you have to do the podcast tonight." I'm like, "It's Sunday, right?"
Damn it! It's that one day a week we have to do a stupid show.
Now, if it would have been yesterday, if it didn't rain out, I probably would have been like, "Hey, yo, John, Jacqueline, you wanna just
you want to get on the APC action?
You want to ditch my own party and go?"
We would have all just been sitting inside watching the TV. Let's not lie here. We would have gone inside a hell of a lot earlier just to watch the races.
That's for sure.
But no, like it was it was, so coming up here, we were just talking about it before we got before we brought in our guest this week. Next week I will be at Flamborough, like I've said earlier, to cover the Canadian Vision Modifieds. Megan will be out as a terrified sister because it'll be Rachel's first start next weekend.
Yep.
So what would happen if I just, I don't know, walked over and just threw a GoPro in the car without anyone noticing?
I mean, in Rachel's car?
Yeah, in Rachel's car.
It'd be interesting. Like, I'm not trying to like poop on her at all, but like she's scared and she's gonna be running the inside line like I did in 2019. So you might not get a whole lot of action.
You know what? Then I'll just put it out the backside.
But you could see like there's other stuff to see.
Exactly.
Cool.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm not going to confirm or anything or deny anything, but if you guys see a random in-car footage video come up next week, just click play and enjoy. I think the race is finally over, and Shea Gemmell's declared the winner.
Did they like call it because of rain? Or
no, they just finished it off.
Okay.
The last 10 laps were run here, but say Joe Lawrence comes home P4. He has not had a worse finish than I think 4th place all year in the APC series.
That's pretty good.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th has been his positions in all 5 races this year.
I will admit, this choose rule that they had, I've never seen it in action until today. When I actually so I've never
yeah.
I mean, last time I watched the APC, there was no restarts or anything like that, and I actually saw it today, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting because I have to see things to understand it.
Yeah.
So just reading about it, I'm like, I don't get it.
But
now that I saw it, that's interesting.
See, so here's the thing: the choose rule it works for the legend cars. I don't know if it actually
Yeah.
works for like a full body stock car on a track such as like Flamborough, Delaware, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because no matter what, fast cars are going to go fast.
Yeah.
Same thing with like a legend car. Like you choose your own fate.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about it. Like I'm 100% honest about it. I'm
Yeah.
not a huge fan of it because you have to have a black and white rule.
Yeah.
It can't be a rule that you have a gray area on. Right? So like if all four tires have to clear it, then you can't just drive over it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make it a black and white rule. If you so much as touch the damn line or touch the cone, you're being sent to the tail of the longest line.
Yeah.
That's they were talking about that last week there, or I think a couple weeks ago, where people were just driving over the line,
Yeah.
or they weren't showing it on G5. Again, the NASCAR did the same thing. They were on commercial break when they did the choose rule for the first time. It's like I don't know how I feel about it. Like
Yeah.
you earn second place, you earn third place. Now you're kind of I don't know. So
Yeah.
I don't know. If you got anyone can try and change my mind. I like talk to me. I will more than gladly hear you out if you like the choose rule, if you don't like choose rule.
Mm-hmm.
I want to hear the arguments here of why it's a good thing, why it's a bad thing. I like it because you choose your own fate.
Yeah.
If you start third and the guy from third, you start third, the guy from second jumps up to the guy who's third jumps up to second, then gets in front of you. Well, now you have to get around another guy, not just one
Mm-hmm.
guy.
See,
So
that
it's,
was my thought. Yeah.
but if when you got a 10th place guy who's coming all the way to the second row, starting fourth, is that going to cause an issue?
Mm-hmm.
Is he going to try and move down, block it, and then there's a big wreck?
Yeah.
Right? There's so many ways you can go with this argument, good and bad reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Maybe I haven't seen enough of it to really. You know what? Here's a solution. Let's just go back to single file restarts.
That'd be interesting. I mean, I'd take
or
it pure stocks because I hate starting on the outside whenever you start.
or we go one,
Hate it.
2, 3, and then double up from there,
Yeah.
like they used to do in the late models, or 1, 2,
Yeah.
whoever. Right? I don't know. You guys tell us what you guys like or what you don't like about the choose cone, what you'd rather see, but I don't know. I do not know. Um but anyway, so Rachel's gonna be racing this weekend. Let's get back to where we were talking about here. So Rachel's gonna be racing, making her first start in the pure stocks this weekend down there, Flamborough Speedway. Chase will be returning out in his 73C. Your car is just about ready, as far as my understanding is. There's some things that needs to happen to Rachel's car before you guys can get going on your car, from my understanding with
Yeah.
talking to your dad.
Like Chase and I kind of did some stuff, some pretty important stuff. Like we got the steering wheel,
Oh, that's good.
like a racing wheel put in. We have my seats just about mounted. After that, it's like a lot of little stuff that I got a really good brother. He's been doing all the work. And my dad.
Yeah, they're
So
they're doing awesome work to make sure these cars are y'all are doing great work to make sure these cars are ready to go. Like I like we were joking last night because you guys showed up to Pub Fiction without telling them. And
yeah.
I was like, you got to tell them so they can make an event out of it.
Well, that's what I said. I'm like, did nobody was told about this? And they're like, no, we're just showing up to take pictures. I'm like, what the F? Like,
Making an event.
I'm gonna start dealing with the sponsorships, honestly. Like, I'm gonna be the sponsorship person because like you're stressing me out with that. We could have had a whole event.
Exactly. More people could have showed up, brought their kids by, sat in the stock car. Like,
Yeah.
man, like how like do you remember when I brought the kids over the one time
Yeah.
and they sat in the car and how excited they were just to sit in a race car?
Yeah.
Oh, which by the way,
Like that's awesome.
I don't so my kids didn't know about the surprise.
No,
Did Jacqueline tell you this story or no? About
she might have.
okay, so on Thursday, Jacqueline went to pick up the boys and we had them for Thursday night, Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, and we took them home Saturday before we coming over to your place. Um, when she picked the boys up, she goes, "Boys, what do you want to get for Daddy for his birthday?" I'm not telling anyone when, but my birthday is coming up, and I'll pass, and no one will know. So when you guys hear that, it could have passed, it could be coming up. I don't know. I mean, I do know, but like you guys don't know. So she asked the kids, like, what do you want to get for Daddy for his birthday? And Mav, bless his heart, goes, a race car. And I'm like, yes, attaboy, that's my kid. And so then she had to blab about the secret to the kids.
Yeah.
So they now know that I will be racing a BT racing car. I told you this the other day. We have practice day booked. It is September 11th down at Delaware. So I'm going to take the day off. I don't know if Jacqueline will be coming with me. I'm hoping maybe we can make it work, but it's going to be tight timing. I want to try and get as much laps in as possible. So we'll see. But yeah, I'm thinking I'll still pack a GoPro for the day. Shoot some footage, shoot some in-car so I can learn. Because I think that'll be the best thing is if I can continue to learn after getting behind the wheel once. I feel like I need to send some more GoPros and some more pure stocks just for personal use only, just so I have a better understanding. But no, like that's all booked up. So yeah, we told the kids, and yesterday I walked out of the room with the fire suit on, and I was like, I was upset with them. They were being little,
Yeah.
disturbers.
They were being kids.
They were being kids, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be still nice here, and I put on the fire suit, but minus the shoes.
Yeah.
Minus the shoes and gloves and helmet and show them the fire suit. And they're like, whoa. They're all excited. They can't wait to watch me race.
Aw.
And according to Jacqueline, there's going to be a few people showing up. Apparently, family of mine have been asking to show up. So once we have the date confirmed, people, stay tuned to Jomo Media Promotions and my personal Facebook account and Instagram account. You guys will know when. It may be a last minute thing, like because with the season winding down there, it definitely won't be the 24th. It will not be championship night, or will it not be the 23rd? I'm hoping it's that Saturday. So I do the practice on the Monday. That Saturday, I go racing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Once everything is dealt with Chris, we will let everyone know. We are looking for sponsorship to help with the cost because as much as Feeney's putting this on as a surprise for me, I do want to help him with his program. So we are selling sponsorship. So if you guys would like to join Joe Media Promotions, or in this case Joe Motorsports as my own driver, or BT Racing or Beefy Motorsports, like reach out to us. I want to get Feeney has done a hell of a lot for me the past few weeks here, and I need to return the favor. So if you guys are looking to be a part of a race day vlog featuring myself as the driver, we are looking for partners for the day, for the race, to help with covering costs such as renting of the car and the equipment. So if there's any potential marketing partners you guys would like to work with that would like to work with us, please reach out to us, and we can see what we can come up with. Sponsorship, we're gonna start off pretty cheap sponsorship, guys. Just message us. Yeah, let's have some fun. Other than that, I got nothing else. Megan, you got anything going on with the rest of the show?
I don't think so.
All right, what do you say we get out of here then? Take us home.
Oh, alrighty. Thank you guys for listening to the True North Racing podcast. You can stay up to date by following on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and on the website. Yeah, for John Morrison, I'm Megan Mitchell, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yep.
Right.
Bye, guys.
Right. See yas.
The car zooming by, hey, True North Racing, let's go.